Hey, everybody, welcome to Pep Talk, the podcast that gives you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, God. We take all these interesting health and wellness topics, things you hear from your doctors, things you hear from your TikTok doctors, things that you see on social media, and help break it down, make it simple, make it digestible, and then give you action steps that you can put into place to actually truly help yourself and help your family and your loved ones. Folks, I'm your host, Dr. Eric Naputi. I'll be taking you down this journey today on Pep Talk. There's a huge article that just came out. A friend of mine sent it to me this morning, and I have to share it with you. Listen, folks, if you're a guy or if you know a guy, you should listen to this. There's a brand new study that just came out that is now linking fast food, microplastics, and prostate issues all together. Let me just tell you something. It is not difficult to get sick people well, nor is it difficult to keep healthy people healthy if you know what to do. But if you don't know what you're up against and what's going on, and you don't have a reason why you should do something, the how to do it is not very simple. So I'm going to share with you right now, a brand new recent study has shown that microplastics in the prostate. So by the way, microplastics are little bitty microscopic pieces of plastic are now showing up in tissues of men and women all over the globe. This study happens to primarily be looking at the prostate, which is a gland in the reproductive organ area for men that's responsible for the ability to properly urinate, to have erectile function, to have proper sexual function. The prostate does many, many things. And it's a big problem with a lot of men. And we have been seeing a very large problem in younger and younger men over the last, honestly, decade to decade and a half. This study is one of many studies that digs into the reason why behind it. So now listen to this. Recent study found that microplastics in human prostate tissues using advanced imaging techniques, they're using MRIs and ultrasounds. Researchers are identifying three types of microplastics that are in the tissues, and it's all plastics that you find in our water supply, in the food containers that we cook, especially microwave your food in. It's in the plastic sacks that we buy our food in, and it's in a lot of the bottles of water that people are consuming. Listen, these tissues, the size of these microplastic range from 20 to 100 microns. You can't see that with the naked eye. By the way, with tumor tissues having larger particles. So when we see larger particles, we're seeing a correlation. Now, I know correlation doesn't mean causation, but if I step in a giant pile of crap that's 3 foot tall and there's an elephant over there, I'm pretty safe to assume that it was that elephant that caused the 3 foot pile of crap and not that little Chihuahua dog that's over there on that lady's porch. You understand what I'm saying? So I get when you're saying causation doesn't equal correlation and correlation doesn't equal, I understand that. But if it looks like a duck, smells like a duck, and if they're finding massive amounts of plastics in tumor tissues, more than they find in tissues that don't have tumors, I think it's probably a good sign that we shouldn't have plastic in our prostate. How many would agree with me that we probably shouldn't have plastic in our prostate or any organs for that matter? Well, listen to this. Researchers are also now finding a link between frequent takeout food consumption and higher levels of these chemicals, raising a major concern about the safety of food packaging. Not necessarily the meat, the stuff, the food itself, but the packaging that it is transported in and what it's cooked in. I'm telling you, if you're microwaving in plastic, if you're microwaving in anything, stop doing that. These microplastics are directly causing prostate issues and prostate cancers. Obviously, this study encourages further research into this, but microplastics have previously been linked to various health issues, including problems with the placenta. So a lot of women are having trouble carrying a baby all the way from conception to delivery because of microplastics in the placenta. We're finding issues in the lungs, in the bloodstream, in the liver, in the kidneys, and in other organs of the human body. We're not supposed to have these plastics in there. So what happens if we have a significant amount of microplastics in the food and in the water? Well, that gets into our cells in our body. And the quality of your health is in direct proportion to the health of the cells in your body. Well, Your cells make up your organs. Your organs make up your organ system. Your organ system makes up the organism. So if you have plastic in the cells, you have sick cells. You're going to have sick organs. You're going to have a sick organ system, like the reproductive system or the nervous system or the immune system or whatever system. And then you're going to have a sick individual. So doesn't it make sense that we should do the best we can to avoid these foods, avoid these plastics? And unfortunately, because of the regulatory world we live in, we have over 1,000 chemicals in America and North America that are allowed in our food supply that are illegal to be in the food supplies of other countries. Illegal. You can't, it's illegal to do this. Illegal. So why are they allowing it in our food supply when we know that it's causing cancer? And there's a massive shift happening right now, but it all starts with you being aware of what's really causing the problems. You want to talk about root cause of fibromyalgia? You want to talk about root causes of some chronic illness? You want to talk about the fact that if microplastics get into the pancreas or into the liver, that can increase the risk of insulin resistance, which can then lead to diabetes? I mean, there's so many new problems we're seeing today. A doctor friend of mine who's in his 90s, who's still alive to this day, he's a mentor of mine, and I still talk to him on a monthly basis, said to me, he laughs and he says, you doctors today, he calls us kids, he goes, you kids today have such a harder time getting sick people well and keeping healthy people healthy because of all the crap in the environment and in the food supply, and this being one of them. And reducing the exposure to plastics by switching to reusable bags or, storing food in glass containers and avoiding microwaving plastic can help limit the exposure, but you're never going to get rid of it 100%. So how do you avoid it? What do you do to pull the toxins out of the system? When I talk about, you got to understand that there's different phases to help people heal. Well, stage number 1, we got to clear the clutter. We got to pull the crap out of the body. We got to detox the system. How do we do that? Well, you've got to use certain detoxification protocols. I'm going to give you about 10 of them right now that you can start doing. Number 1 is avoiding exposure to all these, plastics and microwaves and using these things. It literally, truly is killing us slowly. But what are some of the nutrients and nutraceuticals that can be used? Number 1, activated charcoal. Taking activated charcoal on a regular basis, it's a natural detoxifier and a natural binder. Even the poison control hotline will tell you if you ingested a chemical that you know is bad for the body, go get some activated charcoal. Now, eating activated charcoal by itself sometimes can be a little bit of a problem. It can stain your clothes, stain your teeth. I mean, I get that. It's not the best taste. Having supplements that have activated charcoal in it is powerful. The Detox Pro Plus that we recommend has that in it. It's a highly porous structure that binds chemicals, microplastics, and allows them to be eliminated through the digestive tract. Okay. That's a big one. Number 2, chlorella. Chlorella is a type of algae. It's a type of algae known for its ability to bind heavy metals. It'll detoxify heavy metals and plastics. Microplastics and other forever chemicals can be detoxified by taking chlorella. It's a type of algae, helps detoxify the body. This supplement helps pull out microplastics and other toxins. Number 3, zeolite. Zeolite is a volcanic ash material. Now, you have to get a volcanic ash from a real particular place. It needs to be volcanic ash. Think about it like a sponge. It can't already be filled up with heavy metals and toxins. And there are certain areas of the world, unfortunately, where a lot of heavy metals live next to the ocean. But there are certain areas of the world that have volcanic ash that are free from debris, free from toxins, free from things that will help. Zeolite is powerful. It has to be cliniptolite zeolite. It's a unique cage-like structure that attracts heavy metals and plastics, and it'll pull it out of the body and pull it out through the digestive tract. Number 4, fasting. Intermediate and prolonged fasting. Intermediate fasting is fasting where you're not eating for 16 to 18 hours in a day, and you're eating between a 4 to 6 hour window. It helps the body detoxify. It helps with cellular autophagy, which is cellular regeneration and repair and rebuilding. But it can also pull out microplastics. We know that fasting is a great way because you're not putting more toxins in the body, and you're giving the body a chance, an opportunity to pull those toxins naturally out on their own. Very, very important, powerful thing to do. Another one, infrared saunas. Sweating is one of the best ways to get the toxins from the lymph out of the dermis and epidermis out of the body. It promotes microplastics and other toxins to be released from the fat cells. Did you know that we store most of the toxins in our body in our fat cells, which is why one of the reasons why people don't lose weight when they do weight loss programs or weight loss formulas or weight loss injections is because the fat is stored in the fat cells, or the toxins are stored in the fat cells. And when you burn those fat cells, the toxins are released into the bloodstream, and they have to go through the liver and the kidneys to detoxify. And most people's liver and kidneys aren't healthy enough to do that. That's why sweating is a big thing to do to pull these toxins out. It'll help you lose weight as well. Any other type of binding agents, so certain enzymes, amylase, protease, lipase, pectinase, these are really good. These are fibers and enzymes that are found in vegetables and in fruits, which is why they tell you an apple a day can keep the doctor away. Pectinase inside the apple, the fiber inside the apple, the enzymes inside the apple. Make sure it's organic. If it's organic, then eating the seeds is also a very beneficial thing to do. If it's not organic, do not eat the seeds of any vegetables or fruits. It's where all the toxins, a lot of the toxins are stored in there. Number 7, eating a fiber-rich diet. It's been said that 95% of the population is not getting the amount of fiber that they need in their diet. Fiber helps bind up toxins, pull out heavy metals and plastics out of the body. And if you're not having at least one bowel movement per day, that's a problem for you. If you're not having at least one bowel movement, you're not cleaning out the clutter fast enough, and the regular bowel movements will prevent the microplastics from accumulating in the small and large intestine. And it really helps aiding in the removal of it. Another big one is hydration. We talk about all the time, drinking plenty of spring water, drinking plenty of natural water, drinking water that comes out of a filtration system that pulls out the chlorine and the fluoride and puts hydrogen in the water and puts minerals in the water. It detoxes the body and helps support the lymphatic system for drainage. Other antioxidants. Let's talk about other antioxidants. If you are trying to truly detoxify these microplastics out of your body, obviously avoiding fast food is a big component to that, especially if you're trying to get the toxins out of the prostate. Glutathione. Glutathione is a peptide, but it's a very strong antioxidant that really helps with heavy metal plastic antioxidants and oxidative stress. NAC is another big one. NAC is in the glutathione pathway. NAC helps produce glutathione, and many of you have MTHFR or COMT genes or glutathione gene pathway problems that you need to be supplementing with glutathione. Also, vitamin C, liposomal vitamin C, usually 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams once or twice a day of liposomal vitamin C. Really beneficial. I mean, really beneficial. Helps clean up the liver, clean up the kidneys. That's where a lot of these plastics are kept. And cleaning out the detoxification organs in the body will allow the prostate to be cleaned out as well. And then using other supplements that clean up the liver and the prostate, like milk thistle. I'm a huge fan of milk thistle. Milk thistle, around 750 to 1,000 milligrams a day, is very powerful for the liver and the prostate. Also, saw palmetto. Saw palmetto is a herb that we know is very beneficial for prostate health and longevity. And the prostate is one of those organs that if you don't use it, you lose it. And using it is, well, guys, it's when we have an ejaculation. So getting that prostate to contract regularly is a powerful way to get the microplastics freed up, mobilized, and out of the system. But all the other things have to be done as well, and avoid fast foods, man. And it's not so much the foods themselves as what they're cooked in, what they're stored in, what they're kept in. So I know this is a big one, but I need you guys to understand, if you're having prostate issues of any kind, you probably need to clear the clutter out of your body first. Detoxifying the microplastics and heavy metals is the first key to success with repairing any type of cellular dysfunction, but especially issues with the liver, the lungs, the pancreas, the kidneys, and especially the prostate. So that's what I want you to know. Folks, until we meet again, I'm Dr. Eric Naputi. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the world. Stay smart out there, and I'll see you next time. Be well.